Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regular Meeting. And we are also in concurrence having a Taft City Council Successor Agency Special Meeting agenda, and we're combining the agendas tonight together. So please check your cell phones, make sure they're on mute if you would, as I'm doing. Tonight, Pledge of Allegiance be led by Councilman Pryor. And we have an invocation by Rodney Wyckoff, sorry, Rodney, West Hills Church of the Nazarene. If you'll please stand.
Place your right hand on your heart. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you so much for this beautiful day that we've received. We thank you for the good things that you bring into our lives. We thank you for this community in which we have the privilege to live with all the good people, the friends, neighbors. We pray that you would help us to continue to make this a great place. Be with these council members, Lord. We ask that you'd give them wisdom, direction, help them in decision making as they are trying to do the very best. And as they are being our elected leaders to guide and direct this community, we thank you for them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Rodney. Madam Clerk, will you take roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Noor,
Here.
Councilmember Pryor,
Here.
Councilmember Bryant,
Here.
and Councilmember Hill. Here.
Okay, in regards to the special meeting, it's a closed session item, and we're going to go into closed session at the end of our regular joint meeting. We have two other items on our normal agenda, and we'll add that special closed session to that time. So first off, we have item number one is a proclamation, and I shall read it. City of Taft, State of California proclamation declaring April 2016 DMV Donate Life California Month in Kern County. Whereas organ, tissue, marrow, and blood donation are life-giving acts recognized worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need. And whereas more than 121,000 individuals nationwide and more than 21,000 in California are currently on national organ transplant waiting lists, and on average 22 people die each day while waiting due to the shortage of donated organs. And whereas the need of donated organs is especially urgent in Hispanic and African American communities, and whereas more than 600,000 units of blood per year are needed to meet the need in California, just California, whereas a single individual's donation of the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and small intestine can save up to 8 lives. Donation of tissue can save and heal the lives up to 50 others. And a single blood donation can help 3 people in need. And whereas California residents can sign up with the Donate Life California Donor Registry when applying for or renewing their driver's licenses or ID cards at the California Department of Motor Vehicles. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft does hereby join other cities in proclaiming the month of April 2016 as DMV Donate Life California Month in Kern County. Dated this 5th day of April 2016, signed by myself and the other 4 councilpersons. Apparently we don't have some people from One Legacy that was going to receive this, but it very much is an important thing. And I happen to have my little dot on my driver's license and have, I don't know, by maybe time I croak, my organs might be worn out, but at least they'll be available if somebody needs them. So it is a very serious thing, and it's a very generous thing on your part if you'll make sure that next time you renew your driver's license that you have that attached. And you can simply go down to the DMV and get a little dot to put on your license until your renewal comes up where it'll be permanently affixed. So. All right, item number 2 is citizens' requests for public comments. And unless Kathy, are you going to have something, Dr. Orn? Dr. Orn with the Taft Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau. Welcome.
Hello. It's nice to see all of you. Just want to say good job, Josh, on that Little League celebration. The parade and the celebration were wonderful on last Saturday. We really appreciated that. If you are thinking there is nothing to do in Taft, you are living under a rock, especially on the month of April. So I'm just here to be a public service and take you through the schedule of events. And it's a big one. The Chamber has Sit and Sip tomorrow, and we will be welcoming the new conductor of the Bakersfield Symphony Orchestra. And the orchestra will be coming to Taft on Sunday the 17th for a community presentation, a community concert, excuse me. And they will be doing all of the wonderful John Williams songs that we know by, you know, things that, and of course, nothing comes to mind. Thank you. Star Wars would be one of them. Anybody else? Jurassic Park. Oh my goodness. So, Harry Potter. This is kind of a group effort. Thank you very much. So it'll be an exciting time. So, of course, that's not the only thing happening on that weekend, but I'll get there. We have coming up the Kiwanis Color Run, which is Saturday at 8 o'clock, and closely followed by the Seroptimus Garden Tour, which starts, I believe, at 9 o'clock. Am I right, Renee? So there's 2 excellent opportunities, and then Paulette's people and Alpha House will be having dinners that are designed to raise money for their things that they do to support their needs. So that's Alpha House and Paulette's people later that evening. The next week, David Wolf, who is a candidate for judge, will be our guest at Sit and Sip. The next day, that's on Wednesday. On Thursday, we will have the State of the City luncheon, and we'll be hearing from our mayor, our city manager, and our chief of police, in addition to Blanca Cavazos, the superintendent of the high school district, and Jerry Starr, who is the CEO of our healthcare district. So we'll be finding out from them firsthand what's going on in our city. And then later on, we'll be rejoicing at a mixer at Monarch Fleet Services on Center Street. And we'll have just a chance to meet and greet and have a little bit to drink and eat. On the 16th, which is the following Saturday, the Rotary Health Fair will be happening. And also, the Kern County Birthday Bash will be taking place in Pioneer Village over in Bakersfield. And that's a joint effort of all of the supervisorial districts in our county. It's the 150th birthday of Kern County. And many folks here in Taft are going to be assisting with the display that will represent what's happening on the west side. So you're all invited to that. That's the 16th. And then the following Sunday is WCMA barbecue from 11:30 to 1:30 at Veterans Park right here next door. And then at 2 o'clock, the Revival Center, the Revival Worship Center will be doing a grand opening on 4th Street. That's the old rest home, for those of you that aren't familiar quite where they are. That is 4th Street, isn't it? Lyerly, which 4th becomes, okay. And that's at 2 p.m. And then at 3 p.m. is...
No, I'm sorry. That's on 6th Street.
6th and Lyra becomes Lyra.
Oh, is that what you were saying? I'm sorry, Renee. I
6th
didn't hear.
Street. Just
All right.
before.
So, 6th, going south, becomes Lyerly.
Yes.
And right there where that happens is the Worship Revival Center. or Revival Worship Center, and that's what's having the grand opening. They've done a big facelift to their structures. And then at 3 o'clock, you can go right to the symphony. So that weekend is pretty jam-packed. Then we will have Arbor Day at the Community Garden on the 21st. That's a Thursday. And we'll have our kiddos out there learning about the community garden and plants. And I understand the city is going to be assisting with that or doing that. So that's a big day. And then the following Saturday is the Hall of Fame at the high school. And we have 5 excellent candidates that will be placed into the Hall of Fame. Okay, if you're still with me, the following Monday is Honors Night. That's when scholarships are awarded at Taft High School. And I'm going to stop talking because your eyes are glazing over. But I am making my point. There's plenty to do in Taft. There are plenty chances to serve, plenty chances to ceremonially honor those who have gone before us and those that are working hard, and plenty of chances just to see and be seen. So we're a very busy town, and it's a pleasure to kind of watch that all unfold on a calendar. So, any questions?
Great job, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
Okay. Lots to do, lots to do. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is council statements, non-action. Councilman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I just want to read something that may be considered a little politically incorrect, but although I don't want to be as politically incorrect as one of our presidential candidates, I do think that this is very appropriate. In the first place, we should insist that if the immigrant who comes here in good faith becomes an American and assimilates himself to us, he shall be treated on an exact equality with everyone else. For it is outrageous to discriminate against any such man because of creed or birthplace or origin. But this is predicted upon the person's becoming in every facet an American, and nothing but an American. There could be no divided allegiance here. Any man who says he is an American, but something else also isn't an American at all. We have room for but one flag, the American flag. We have room for but one language here, and that is the English language. And we have room for but one sole loyalty, and that is the loyalty to be the American people. This was written by Teddy Roosevelt in 1907. And as Dave Nord would say,
Bully.
thank you very much. I just thought that was very appropriate in light of all the crazy things that are happening right now, and I just thought that was well said. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well said, indeed.
Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that you, my fellow councilman, will likely bring up the fact that we've had a recent change in legal wage rates, required legal wage rates in the state, so I'm not going to ramble on about that aside from telling you I likely completely agree with your stance, and so I'll let you elaborate there. It's always disheartening to continue to see how hard our government makes it to live and work in such a beautiful place. But on a positive note, I again want to thank everyone who had the opportunity to not only come out and enjoy the festivities on Saturday, including my councilman, my fellow councilman here, but thank all the city staff, whether it was those folks who were putting up barricades, picking up any sort of refuse that happened to be left out there, or on the administrative side, the planning department specifically, city manager Craig Jones here. I appreciate that very much, but it certainly is in the interest of public benefit, and I cannot say thank you again enough. It's an honor and privilege to sit up here on the dais as a member of the council with you folks. But it's also an honor and a privilege, very much in high esteem in my regard, to hold the position as Little League president here in Taft. It's an honor to not only honor the children and our youth, and to hopefully provide a better opportunity, memory, and future for those folks, but to honor our supporters, all of our local sponsors who make it possible for us to have such a program. And it's also an honor to honor our town, to show off Taft, to have folks like sitting U.S. Congressman, one of the highest ranking and most important men in the country, come and spend time here. It's an honor to make that happen for Taft. I look forward to many, many more and much, much larger in the future, always with the kid and the city in mind, because again, the residual benefits aren't just to showcase the kids, but it's to bring people to the downtown, bring people to the city. And I see a win-win opportunity there for many, many years to come. So thanks again, everybody. We appreciate it on behalf of the Little League, and I do personally as a member of the citizenry here with you. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Noor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to thank you, Josh. I mean, that was a great event. It was an awful lot of fun to watch all the kids. 37 teams. 37 baseball and softball teams coming out of a small community like the city of Taft. That is phenomenal in my mind. That it is great to see that kind of involvement. And I talked with Don Koenig today, as a matter of fact. He reminded me that the T-ball, the little bitty ball players, they're about like that size right there. They play ball at the 2 ball diamonds right by the rec, the small ones. And they have got to be a lot of fun to watch. And so I'm going to make my way down there and watch them, just watching them in the parade and seeing the smiles on their faces, and they're swelling with pride. And they hadn't even played yet.
Any Monday or Wednesday between now and May 25th, come on down.
Come on down. We're going to be a part of that. Like you say, Kevin McCarthy was here, and he was so excited. I was able to sit next to him and talk about his memories of Little League. And he said he could remember the name of every single business that ever sponsored one of his Little League teams. I can name them off for you right now. And he's very excited, very genuine about it. Supervisor David Couch was here. He was a part of the festivities as well. And he watched and enjoyed the entire parade. And it was a beautiful day. And I want to give a little shout out to Councilwoman Hill there, because the downtown looked phenomenal, and all the little sponsored gardens looked great. I know the service clubs did some work on them not too long ago, but between the great weather that the mayor arranged and the parade, and I'm telling you, Center Street was beautiful. It showcased this city and the people of this city. So you weren't there, but I'll excuse that because you missed out. I'm telling you right now. So that was great fun. So thank you very much for all of that. Beyond that, I read this little article here today, and I had to just laugh at the irony involved in this. So I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Here it is. California sues Morgan Stanley over massive investment loss. Now, how about that? Massive investment. Now, anybody got any idea of what investments they lost money in?
Had to be PERS.
There you go, Mr. Mayor. Had to be PERS.
It was an acronym.
One real estate deal, they lost more than $1 billion, billion with a B. But here's what's scary, everybody out there in TV land. When PERS loses $8 billion, it has to be backfilled. It either gets backfilled by the taxpayers, or it gets backfilled by income from investment. The problem is, and we've talked about this at length, that the business plan of CalPERS assumes a rate of return that is absolutely impossible. Now here's the irony. The irony is, in this article it says, the suit accused Morgan Stanley of conning pension investment managers at CalPERS and CalSTRS into buying toxic mortgage-backed securities during the housing bubble by vastly underplaying the level of risk the notes carried. If you know the history of PERS, and you know that when CalPERS people themselves went to the state legislature in order to increase the benefits of pensioners, this is exactly what they did in order to get the legislature to buy off on it. Because later on, when that bubble burst, and the legislators who had voted for that were interviewed, they said, wait a second, we got conned by the CalPERS people. They only told us the rose-colored glasses side of things, that we're doing so well in the stock market, there's never going to be any additional deposits that are going to have to be made by any municipalities. They didn't seem to tell the legislature the possible bad side. They looked at 3 different scenarios: rose-colored glasses, middle of the road, everything goes wrong. Well, guess what ended up happening? That everything goes wrong. The one that they didn't inform the legislators of, and the legislators, this one in particular, said I wouldn't have voted for it. So I just find it so ironic that after the fact, after they create a system that demands that they make risky investments in order to get a rate of return that is unsustainable, they lose, and what are they going to do? They're going to sue. It's the American way, for Christ's sakes. Nobody has any individual responsibility. Well, here's a news flash for you. It's going to continue. You'll read more of this. I guarantee it, and I will bring it to your attention because they haven't changed their business plan. It is going down. We will hear more from the finance department because we as a city have made an investment in our ability to actually gauge our unfunded liability, the truth about the unfunded liability, not the lie that's being peddled here. So it'll be interesting to see, but I just had to bring that to everybody's attention. These people swindled the legislature and got them to buy into this garbage, and then when they lose, they want to sue somebody. I wonder if the legislator could sue the CalPERS board. Perhaps that's what they ought
Oh,
to
what a
do.
concept.
Yeah, or maybe even the taxpayers, because we're the ones who are losing. So, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to congratulate Josh for the fine job he did for... Pardon? Thank you. I just want to congratulate Josh for a fine job he did for Little League hosting it, and I'm sorry I missed it. I was out of town for that time. I sure would love to have been there. Also, I was going to touch on a $15 an hour wage increase over a period of time. I hadn't been in Texas there, and we're having a little discussion about California. I hadn't been out in Houston area, and they were telling me there's over 1,000 people a day coming from California going to Houston. I said, darn it, that's what's for our taxpayers. The ones that pay taxes in California can't afford to live here anymore. But people get to leave in California. They even have a booth there at the farm show in Tulare for business people from Texas. Important our business people go to Texas because of our high costs of living, costs of wages, rules and regulations, and everything is hard to compete in California more. The way you compete is go out of state and then import the product back to California to produce it. Being in the produce business myself, it's hard to compete when our product, our market is at one price and our cost is higher than the market price, and then our competitors outside the state of California or in other countries produce it a whole lot cheaper than we can do it. It's hard. What do? You have to downsize. So you have to, go to automated equipment or go to less employees. And I see a time where you're going to see lines in the stores because you're going to see a lot less clerks in there in the stores. You're going to see more automation in the fast food market. You're going to see a lot less people working. Who's going to hire somebody at $15 an hour coming out of high school? You're not going to see it happen. What we're trying to help is hurting the very fact that people are trying to help. And in my travels throughout the different countries and stuff, the people thinking $400 to $1,000 a month have more beautiful homes, cars, vacation homes, and they're happy. They're getting paid a whole lot less, but everything's cheaper. They have all these stuff. The food, you can buy beer for 15 cents, 8 cents for a bottle, as long as it's not imported, but it's good to run food for, you can go to a restaurant for $1.15 for a meal, $1.35 for a steak dinner. If you come to California, you're going to spend, or US, you're going to spend $12 to $18 for a steak dinner. But it's all relative, wages are. The more you make, the more they're going to tax you. They're going to tax you more. The business is going to be able to afford to hire you. So we're going to have a downward spiral in California, our economy and stuff, so we all be affected. I know there'll be more to it as things come out, and I know there'll be a discretionary deal with the governor. If the economy does tank out, that they can suspend portions of it. But a lot of times, when it gets that far, it's almost too late. But a lot of businesses are leaving California, and we see a lot of restaurants, your favorite restaurants, downsizing, closing, or run by family members, because this cannot compete and sell a hamburger for $10 or $15 for a hamburger. But that's all I have to say on that part there. And another thing too, and the council talked about it briefly ourselves, but Mark Savaggio. I've known Mark for many, many years. He was a teacher there in Harvard High School, and he's one of David Couch's right-hand man, or supervisor, and he's going to be retiring, and he'll be sorely, sorely missed because he does all the legwork for David, and he does a lot for Taft here. He does a lot here, making things happen, to follow up on things, make sure the roads are taken care of, the houses are in compliance, helping us out, and his eyes and ears for David, and he's been really, really sorely missed, and been a friend to all of us here in Taft, and what more can you ask for a guy that gave his life, not his life, but his time here, and the difficulties he's going through right now, that he has to retire, and I just wish him the best in his retirement, and I'd like to think some way we can do is honor him here in the council somehow in the future, find out when his date is, but that's all I have.
Well, thank you. In regards to Mr. Moore's statement about PERS, nobody went to jail. Nobody's gone to jail. Morgan Stanley, nobody's gone to jail. Nobody in PERS making bad decisions. They just lost our money, but they still got their paychecks. Nobody went to jail. Nobody took responsibility. Nobody got hurt by it, except the people. And that's correct. So we start sending people to jail for not doing their jobs or wastefully spending our money and committing crimes. It's just going to happen again and again and again. Again, I want to thank Josh for a great job, and it's a tribute to Josh that Kevin McCarthy took time out of his busy schedule to show up out here, because he asked him to. And that's pretty darn good for, coming out to a Little League ceremony in Taft, and we get our congressman to come and do that. That's great. And again, too, Dave Couch also showed up, and then they show their support of this community, and by God, we should show our support of them. They do a great job here, and Mark Savaggio, like Marshall said, has done a great job out here on the west side, and we have gotten more service out of Supervisor Couch and his staff than we ever gotten in the last 30 years that I know of.
I agree with that.
It's just fantastic, and then we're going to really miss Mark, because he's one of those guys that get hold of something and he doesn't let go, and that's the way it should be done. And he doesn't have any qualms about getting somebody's face and making them step up and do their jobs. And so we're finally getting our fair share of county services on the west side, and he's going to be sorely missed. So it's going to take some big feet to fill his shoes, and so we wish him the best, but assume he's going to be here for at least a few more months till he makes that actual announcement. One thing is this $15 an hour, I just worry, though you work your way up and now you're making $15 an hour, and you put in time and experience and education, and you got your skill set, now they're going to give it away to somebody that just walks in the door that has nothing. So I want $20 an hour. Well, the person's making $20 an hour says, well, I want $25 an hour. Well, the guy making $25, you can see how it's just it's not trickling down, it's trickling up. And that's going to affect the economy. Besides this $15 an hour, if they get hired full-time, you got to add another 25 to 40% more for employee benefits on top of that. And then it's going to be tied to the cost of living. Nobody else's wages are tied to cost of living. It's going to be crazy. And what's really sad is that they can rush through and do this within 2 weeks, but we have not solved our water issues, we have not solved our highway issues, we have not solved our energy issues. We've not solved all these major things, because those aren't legacy programs, but they can go in and proudly give taxpayers' money away to people that, I don't know, it's just crazy. So we'll see how it works out. One other sad note that I'm very disappointed in is Bank of America. Bank of America has been in Taft since the 30s. I don't know an exact date, but we had at one time the Bank of Italy, and the Bank of Italy had many branches around, and the Bank of America got started by buying the Bank of Italy, and the number 3 branch of the Bank of Italy was in Taft. And so when Bank of America bought the Bank of Italy, the Taft branch became the third branch of all the Bank of America throughout the United States, as far as I believe, or at least California, but I believe in the United States. So we're the third branch. So after 80-plus years of being in Taft, we went from an old stately bank building to the monolith that's been left up on Center Street to the obnoxious branch down at the Albertson store. And the ladies, Pam and Sherry, the branch manager, and Pam and Lupe and Cynthia and the other gals in there, it's got to be cruel and unusual punishment for them to have put up all this time in that branch when all these cashier machines going off in the store. It's like being in a casino. It's just awful. But I'm a depositor with Bank of America, and I get this letter, as all that I assume everybody else did, just saying, oh, well, we're closing our doors on June, blah, blah, whatever date it is, and if you want to do banking, we have 3 branches in Southwest Bakersfield that you can wander over there and deal with, or you can use our crappy new ATM machine on the corner of 9th and Kern Street. That so everybody in the world driving by can see that you're in there. Maybe you're going to get cash out of the machine, so some nefarious people might be real up on that. It's just a terrible way to do business, and I can understand the economics of it, but for them not to come to the city, not to come to their customers and say, hey, we're sorry, we've had a long relationship with the city of Taft and our customers, and we appreciate, that you've done for us as we've done for you, but economics say that, it was none of that. It was just, oh, well, we're closing our doors. See you later. This is a crappy way to do business. Some young people may think, well, I don't care. I never went in the bank anyway. I just do it all online. Well, online, you don't have a human being on your side. And one thing that these young people need to know that you can't do everything by a smartphone or your computer or laptop or whatever. You need somebody to advocate for you, and we've lost our advocates here on the west side. And I feel so sorry for the ladies up there that have done an excellent job over the years and provided the best customer service they could in the circumstances they were in. And now we've lost our advocates, and now they've lost my business. So I'm not advocating that everybody move their accounts, but I am. So sorry, Bank of America, you're going to treat us that way. I don't see where your loyalty is, where my loyalty is coming together anytime soon. So again, it's another a business. The bean counters in faraway places make these decisions that we, the citizens, have to live with. And they were making money, they were making money. JCPenney was making money. The Chevron station on 10th was making money. All these businesses that national firms that left Taft were all making money, but oh well. So. But fortunately, we've got 3 other banks in town and a credit union, so we're not left high and dry. So I guess that's all I have. Get that off my chest. So move on to item number 4, Planning Commission report. I see we have Robert Thompson, Planning Commissioner, in the audience, and making his way up forward. And Robert, welcome tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller. Last month, on the 16th, we had 4 items up for discussion. We adopted a resolution number 2016-0 on chapters 1 and 12 of Title 6 of the Taft zoning related to the garage sales. And that passed 4-0. We also did a section 6.1190 of Title 6 of the zoning relating to the yards and fences. That also passed 4-0. We approved a conditional use permit number 2016-05 to permit the type 41 ABC license for the Route 33 Sandwich Company. And we delayed the discussion on the CUP number 21604 for a commercial edition till actually tomorrow. Any questions?
Oh, God, you guys got busy, so that's good.
Yeah,
Things are happening.
things are happening.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Robert, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Anybody have any questions for Robert? Oh, okay, thank you. All right, item number 5, department reports. See the chief getting up? Oh, you have something? Okay. Chief Whiting?
Mr. Mayor, City Council. I was talking to Councilman Knorr about a week or so ago about a committee I sit on, and he asked me to share some of the very interesting amounts of data that I got from this committee with all of you. As a California police chief, I sit on the firearms committee for the California Police Chiefs Association. I'm just one of 10 police chiefs that sit on this particular committee. We meet on about every other week as a conference call and address all 21 new pieces of firearms legislation coming down the pike since January 20th of this year. And there's a lot, and they're all bad. But during the call, we had a representative of the California Department of Justice Firearms Bureau join the call to answer any of our questions. And this is where we got some of these really amazing numbers I'm about to share with you. And you might not be too happy when I get done, but you'll understand. First one is the initiative by our Lieutenant Governor, Gavin Newsom. It has been titled the Public Safety for All Act of 2016. It is two-part. First part is ammunition sales. You must be a licensed, registered vendor to sell ammunition in the state of California if this were to pass. And if you want to buy ammunition, you have to undergo a background check, much like you would a firearm. We quizzed the California Department of Justice about how many transactions they thought that might be. Their best guess was based on the number of firearms that were purchased last year in California alone. Anybody want to take a guess at how many firearms were purchased last year in California? Over 900,000.
Oh, 900, whoa.
They think those people will buy ammunition about 4 times a year on average, which makes 3.6 million transactions. Now, that's just the firearms sold last year. We don't know how many prior to that and how many of those people are still buying ammo, but at 3.6 million transactions, they figured that's what they're going to have to track and watch. So we asked them how much that was going to cost the state of California to grow government, and their answer was $25 million. And 200 more DOJ personnel. That's 200 more PERS retirements, 200 more tables, desks, chairs, phones, and computers. And then you have to rent, lease, and buy office space for those 200 people to track all this ammunition transactions. And we also noted that that money, that 25 million, would be borrowed from the state's general fund and had to be paid back within 5 years from all the vendor license fees they would have to get from the vendors, because they're just not going to do it for, free of charge. And that means they'll have to pass that on to us consumers, and then that means the cost of a box of ammo is going to go up. We noted that means that all the ammo for all the police and sheriff's departments is going to go up too, and so we're not pretty happy about that. Then after that, we talked about Assembly Bills 880, 1663, and 1664. Now this is about bullet buttons. Some of you may be familiar with the concept. Basically, that means you can't have an assault weapon in California unless it has a bullet button on it. It means you can't freely remove the magazine. It's fixed to the gun unless you use a tool, or in this case, the nose or the bullet to push it in to get the magazine out. And you're limited to 10 rounds in California. Interesting, because if 1664 passes, that means anybody with a bullet button gun, such as an AR-15 or an AK-47 rifle, they would have to be registered as assault weapons. Well, we asked the DOJ representative how many assault weapons were currently registered in California. Anybody care to take a guess?
0.
No, there's 160,000 assault weapons registered in California to date, and some change, okay?
Assault weapons.
Assault weapons, okay? That would be AR-15s, AK-47s, anything that's currently listed on the list under 12276 as an assault weapon, okay?
This was many years ago, I beg your pardon, Chief. What was the year that they made us register our...
99 and 2000.
99,
okay?
2000.
Now, having said that, they estimated that there are at least 550,000 AR-15s and AK-47s with bullet buttons that would have to become registered as assault weapons, literally quadrupling the amount of assault weapons registered just in the state of California. If 880 or 1663 passes, anything that is semi-automatic, center fire with a detachable magazine has to become registered. So if your granddaddy left you a Remington 760 or 7600, that would be the 30-06 deer rifle that has a detachable magazine, it becomes an assault weapon. They've been selling those since the 40s and 50s. Anybody owns a Mini 14, very common. They've been sold since the mid-70s in California. You could buy them at almost everywhere. Every department store had them. I mean, you could buy them everywhere. Long's Drugs. We don't even know how many of those are out there, but that would effectively, they believe there could be a couple million of those out there. So effectively, what would happen is if these become law, they're gonna have to grow government yet again for all those registrations, just like they did the ammunition part of it. And effectively, if 880 or 1663 pass, they become de facto assault weapon bans. I mean, they literally will ban them in California. The good news is, though, of the 10 chiefs, 8 of us are pro-Second Amendment. The other 2 chiefs are from the Bay Area, and they're not quite so Second Amendment. So the good news is that so far, we're not very happy with any of the 21 laws, and we've made our feelings known to the Executive Committee and to the Senate Pro Tem, Kevin DeLeon. So,
Can I ask you a question, Chief?
Sure.
So every time I go in to buy a box of ammunition, I'm gonna have to have a background check?
it's worse than that.
Oh.
Let's say you and Councilman Cryer there decide to go hunting one day, and he forgets to bring his box of 12 gauge with him. You said, oh, I can loan you a box. No, you cannot. You have to make sure that he's been licensed and backgrounded first before you hand him that box of ammo, or you've committed a serious crime.
Because you're not a registered ammunition dealer, so you cannot do that.
So what is the purpose, or what is the background of all these laws? What are they trying to accomplish with all this?
What they've always tried to accomplish, they're chipping away at our Second Amendment rights. That's the bottom line.
They're just trying to take, I mean, bottom line, trying to take guns away, or just?
Well, maybe, let me put it to you this
So
way, Mr. Mayor, maybe you can see the trend that I'm saying, okay?
Yeah.
So Prop 47 says we can't arrest people on drugs now. We have to give them a ticket for possession of heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, PCP, OxyContin. Drugs that are ruining people's lives. We used to be able to arrest them for a felony and they would lose their gun rights. Now we have to give them a ticket and they don't lose their gun rights. But you get caught giving someone a box of ammunition, you lose your gun rights and you have to go to jail. So California is saying that drugs are good and guns are bad. How do we get so far afield?
So if I give you a box of 22 so you can go introduce your grandson to sport shooting, and at the same time somebody is swapping a bag of dope on the other side of the street, I get popped, I lose my right to own a firearm, and I committed a crime and I can go to jail, and the person doing the dope deal gets cited and released. Welcome to California.
That's where we're headed. And they're all, every one of them, all bad. There's not a good one in the bunch. So I just thought I'd bring that lovely news to
And
you.
all the bad guys are gonna turn their guns in, and, you know, and
No, they're
all the
not.
good people that, all the good people that have guns are gonna turn them in too. Yeah. We're gonna be like Australia. No.
Well, that's what Hillary wants, and Hillary Clinton, I'm gonna put it out
Oh,
there,
the second
folks.
part of Gavin Newsom's bill is an outright magazine ban of anything more than 10 rounds. Currently, importation, manufacture, importation, lend, sale, or giveaway of a high-capacity magazine is a crime in California, but possession is not. So all those people that had those magazines prior to the ban can possess those magazines lawfully and legally and morally and ethically, unless this passes. Then you have to turn them all in. It worked out so well in LA last year when they had a magazine ban by city ordinance. You know how many magazines got turned in?
0.
All those people that had them, got them stolen.
City of Sunnyvale, their mayor, looking for political clout, passed the same ordinance and didn't consult with the Sunnyvale Police Officers Association, who promptly told them that we're not enforcing it and basically told them to pound sand. And I talked to their, well, I told them I wouldn't repeat who he was, so I'll just say, a representative of their POA who said that, and they're not going to enforce that law either, and they're not enforcing it.
There's one other issue, if you would, please, Chief. I know when you and I were talking, you asked a question pertaining to, of all the ammunition purchased, how much of that, or how many, what was the percentage that they think was purchased to be used for the commission of a crime? It's this tiny little infinitesimal number. So what it amounts to is, they know that less than 1% could even possibly have an impact on crime. So they also then by default know 99% of the victims of this ill-conceived legislation are law-abiding citizens.
Well, what's really sad, and I brought it up earlier, is they're doing all this stuff, the social engineering type of kind of stuff. And we still don't have any better water, getting water down here. The dikes in the Sacramento Valley, the Delta are in really bad shape. Our highways are in bad shape. They're not working feverishly on solving these big major problems that affect all of us. They're just going after, Second Amendment folks.
That is absolutely correct.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy to live in California.
The part that Councilman Knorr was referencing was they gave us a report from the city of LA, District Attorney's Office, Bureau of Gun Violence. They actually have a bureau that tracks gun violence. And they gave us a report because they wanted to bolster their side of the argument that ammunition sales to prohibited persons, we need to stop that because this will save lives, basically. So they tracked ammunition sales in LA City, where you had to produce a driver's license for 2 months in 2004, in April and May. And then they tracked the number of rounds and purchases. And what they found was 2.6% of the ammunition purchased in LA was by an armed prohibited person. 10,500 rounds out of all those transactions. So when we got a hold of the report, we researched it, and we found that City of Sacramento did the same thing, and they found it's only 1.5% in Sacramento. And so we asked the question, so basically you're going to grow government by 200 more positions, 200 more PERS retirements, track 3.6 million transactions a year for what amounts to be 1 or 2% of the ammunition sales in California, which, by the way, doesn't prohibit straw purchases. So, Mr. Mayor, if you were prohibited from buying ammo, you would just have your wife go buy it for you and then hand it to you because there's no law prohibiting that. So ammunition is not sterilized, so once it walks out the door of the store, there's no way for us to track it. Unless we personally see that box of ammo go out of the store to her house and personally track it in her house, we can't say that box came from that store anytime soon.
Well, you've touched on a real big issue, is we're creating a bureau, government, kingdom, empire building. You start out with 200 employees, now you're gonna wind up with 1,000, and then they're gonna come up with rules and laws and audits, and I mean, it'll just get worse and worse, because all those people are gonna try to survive and keep their jobs, so the only way to do that is to build government bigger and put more regulations and work out there so I can keep my job. So, and like you said, PERS and all that goes along with that, it's just crazy. We don't need to do it.
Edmund
You're
Burke said it
saying
best
the
when-
very thing is, the statistics aren't proving it out, any of it.
Edmund Burke said it best when he said those who aren't researching history are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
And the thing is, this is, prohibition, we thought we saw that back in the early 1900s, right? And did it work? I mean, how about fireworks? Really? Have we seen that work? Because they're just going to Nevada and Arizona to buy it and bring it back here. They'll do the same thing with ammo and guns. Is this not going to work? And the trend I'm seeing is they're punishing the good people because they're not willing to punish the bad people. They're not going to build more prisons. In fact, they're trying to dump as many people out of prison as they can right now, thinking that if they go after the good people, that will solve their issue, and it won't.
You commit a crime, you use a gun, you go to jail immediately, 10 years or whatever, and no early outs, and I don't know if that's a big enough deterrent or not, but I don't know. There's too many guns out there already, and taking away from the good people and letting the bad guys keep theirs, not a good deal.
It's great. Anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to come up and tell you what I learned
No,
from there.
I
It's
think
very-
we want you to come up and tell us and let the public know what's going on. Not everybody's, has guns and not everybody likes guns, but there's a whole lot of people that have guns and they have them for various reasons and personal protection, hunting, plinking, whatever. And it's just our human, ingrained in our nature as Americans, is that's our free will right to have guns. And so anything that comes up that worries us, and we appreciate you coming forward with it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief, appreciate it. I thought you all might enjoy that.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Clerk, you had something?
Yes. At the last city council meeting, we were asked to bring back a department report on our loan portfolio. And I have that information I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
So currently, the city has in its portfolio 2 business loans, 39 housing rehab and/or home buyer loans, and a loan that was used for the construction of senior apartments. Currently, there are no delinquencies to report in these loans. We do have 2 items that are currently being worked and monitored in the loan portfolio, and one of them is we have a rehab loan that's currently out of compliance due to the death of the owner occupant. So we're working with the family, waiting for a probate to close so that they can sell that property and pay off the loan. And also we have a loan that had, in the past, had delinquency that has made it get out of compliance. So working within the program guidelines, we're restructuring that loan for that person and fixing that loan. Currently, the city makes no more business loans due to the complexity of underwriting and the changes in the CDBG program guidelines. We do no business lending anymore. We do currently accept applications for funding loans through the housing rehab and the home buyer programs. And just a little history, it is the responsibility of the grant administrator along with the city's loan committee to monitor and manage for compliance the city's loans in the loan portfolio. And the city as a lender is held to the same level of privacy on its loan accounts as any other lending institution or lender.
Yeah. Small Business Administration is still actively making loans to startup companies or?
And, I don't know exactly what all they're lending for right now, but I know they still are in existence and we can give out a contact number for them.
Anybody have any questions?
I actually asked for that, so thank you very much for bringing that forward. I thought that was something that the people deserve to know because those are public programs and so the public deserves to know how they're
Yeah, we had a
working.
number of TARP loans and those were always worrisome, and some did really well and some didn't do so well, but we're not in the business of losing money, so. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the update.
Okay, any other department reports? All right, item number 6, city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. This week I had the pleasure of signing notices to proceed on 2 public works projects. One is the Rails to Trails 2nd Street down to Highway 33. That should start within the next couple weeks.
Oh.
That'll be blacktop, the bridge will go in, irrigation and some trees. We didn't get everything that we wanted because we didn't have the budget for it, but
Is it gonna be lighted?
no. Not this time, but we can go after future grant funds to light it, or the city could choose to fund portions of lighting.
Is it ending down by the museum?
Yes. It'll be a,
Kind of
like a pedestrian cul-de-sac down, or, turn around, come back.
Will be near their fence?
It's within our right-of-way, so if you know where the existing railroad right-of-way is, where the train used to go through there, it's 30, 40 feet from their fence back there.
It'd be nice that we could make a pathway or work with the museum to kind of connect. Make a connection
I
there.
had a meeting with them, it's been probably almost 2 years now, about creating some kind of pathway, so folks could walk down and enjoy the museum and possibly.
My thought is monument to museum and back,
Yeah.
I mean, but we shouldn't have to stumble over and walk through a dirt trail to, get to it, so.
Like most projects, by the time we get them to construction, they're 3 to 4 years after we asked for the funding, and it's competitive money. So we didn't have all the money we needed to do everything we wanted. We're not going to continue the grass theme anymore because of the drought, obviously, but we're putting in some drought tolerant shade trees. Folks are going to have some shade along the way to rest and take a break, so we are going to have a few shade trees along the way.
What's the dollar figure on that project?
The total dollar figure was 670 some thousand, some change.
There you go, folks.
Grant funded?
Grant funded, yeah.
This is what the city
Over
does.
Almost 200,000 of that's just a small bridge to cross Sandy Creek.
Yeah. Bridges are expensive.
Then I signed the notice to proceed the $3.6 million maintenance upgrade project at the municipal wastewater treatment plant. So the contractors will be mobilizing down there within the next week or so to start potholing utilities and getting ready for that project. So that project will include a new septic receiving facility for RVs, which will be outside of the plant, which will be accessible 24/7 via a card lock system that will be issued here at City Hall for citizens of Taft County residents for a small fee for the card. We're not going to try to make money off of it. We got to cover the fee for the card and stuff like that. But the good thing is the citizens can use the RV dump station anytime they want to, so they don't have to try to maneuver into the park and all that with their big RVs, so.
Cool.
People should like that.
Very good.
That's been a long time coming on that project, and glad to see it finally, here, so. Hopefully we get a few years out of that upgrade out there, which I think we will.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item 7, city attorney statements, Mr. Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, no statement.
All right, thank you. Item number 8, future agenda requests. Do we have any future agenda requests? Well, I do. I got a email from our resident editor of the Midway Driller asking that we put on an agenda Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I think we've done that the last couple of years, haven't we, Doug? Yeah, and so I would ask that we put on the next agenda for Child Abuse Prevention Month for the month of April, right?
City clerk has the information.
Okay.
Doug
so
dropped it off
if I can
today.
get concurrence on that?
Concur on that?
Okay, so,
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, Orschel, did you not request that we come up with a presentation for Mark Salvaggio as a big thank you for the people of the west side, even though we're the city of Taft?
Yes, we did. We're going to go with the city clerk to find out what date he's going to retire on.
We can get the concurrence now, and staff will try to follow his retirement date, and we can do something.
I would most definitely concur with that.
okay. We're good. Any others? All right, moving on. Here we go. Consent calendar, item 9 through 18. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none, we'll move on. Here we go. Item number 9, minutes, March 15th, regular meeting. Item 10, payment of bills, about $900,000 worth. Item 11, treasurer's report. Motion to receive and file the treasury report dated March 17, 2016 for the month of November 2015 and March 24th for the month of December 2015. Item 12, Wallace Group task order to design supervisory control and data acquisition system to assist with the request for proposal and perform construction management. And that is an amount not to exceed $5,000. Item 13, Keith Commissary Network Agreement for Deposit Services, Web, Phone, and Kiosk. Motion to approve and authorize city manager to execute the Keith Commissioner Commissary Deposit Service Letters of Understanding. Item 14, authorization, excuse me, I'm trying to go too fast here. Item 14, authorization to submit the FTA Section 5311 application to the California Department of Transportation. Item 15, certificates and assurances for the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program. Item 16, that's to increase ridership and try to reduce greenhouse gases. Item 16, promote the city of Taft at Kern County's 150th birthday celebration along with the chamber, and that's to approve funding not to exceed $1,500 to participate. Item 17, authorization for execution of the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program LC-TOP project in the amount of $25,495. Item 18, additional purchase of Sunridge Systems RIMS E911 mapping software for the Police Department Dispatch Center. And that's a motion to approve the purchase of $5,995. Glad you got that under $6,000, Chief. From the Asset Forfeiture Fund to Sunridge Systems. I have item 9 through 18. Does anybody wish to have an item removed? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve items 9 through 18. Madam Clerk.
Motion.
I'm sorry. Got a motion second. No further discussion?
Bless you.
Madam Clerk, take roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Noor?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor Miller?
Yes, and that does pass on a 5-0 vote. We're in the end of our regular meeting and our special council meeting for tonight. We do have 3 items. On the special meeting closed session conference item is conference with property negotiator, city manager Craig Jones, Government Code Section 54956.8, 400 Hilliard Street, Taft, California. Under the regular agenda closed session items, we have item A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. We always like to hear that. Government Code Section 54956.9A, Sierra Club in the city of Taft and the Taft City Council. Item B, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, City of Taft versus CDCR. That's California Department of Corrections. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We are